Welcome to Both, Not Either Or, a podcast about integrative medicine and health. We're so happy that you are listening to our podcast. Together, we can help create a greater understanding for integrative medicine and health. If you're interested in this, we warmly invite you to become a member and join our network. More information about this will be shared in the end of the episode, but you can also find it in our website, fimh.se. My name is Louise Tjernqvist and I host these conversations. I am the chairman of the board of the association behind this podcast. My professional title is board certified psychotherapist and nurse. Welcome to a new episode of the podcast Both and Instead of Either Or. And today we are recording from beautiful Östermalm in Stockholm. And by my side, my sound engineer Rasmus Tibell, as always nowadays. And my guest today is Louise Tjernqvist. You're so warm. Welcome.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. It's looking forward to our conversation.
And it's my honor because you have been in the podcast before once together with Dr. Cecilia Tibell. That was in Swedish, and today we're recording in English, and I'm so happy and grateful for that you are the one that can speak English. Perfect, because you have been living in the United States for how long?
I think I've lived abroad approximately like 20 years of my life, on and off, different English-speaking countries. Yeah, yeah,
right. So you master the language today, and I will contribute with my Slinglish. As the listener already knows through the episode that I've done before in English. So we will manage.
We will
manage.
We'll do that. Yeah.
And I think this episode is going to be very, different from others' episode, because we have spent together now since last night. We have been eating dinner. We have had another friend here. We had slept together almost
a wall apart, but yeah.
And we have had breakfast, and we have, new things have come to birth. So now we are I am very enthusiastic to have this conversation with you.
Yeah, me too. We got some good vibes going.
Yeah, we have. We certainly have. Yeah. And you have also made very powerful treatment just for kind of 15-20 minutes, just according to this episode that we are going to speak about those, because to the one that is listening to this and got interested in whatever you do that we're going to talk about, we're going to have this as an example for that. And I'm actually, I think the energy in my body now after have this trauma treatment this morning is from that. It was awesome. So we're going to come into that.
Yeah.
I will do my introduction of you first, because I have to kind of fläta in everything. That is. So Louise Tjernqvist, you are an integrative, trauma-informed therapist working mainly online today with clients and others. You have educations and so on. But from the beginning, you are raised and born through the world of sport, right? And you're two-time Olympian and bronze medalist, right? So if we just and you're so much more. You have a wonderful husband that is also in the sports. Who is he?
Yeah, my husband Daniel. Yeah, I say that he comes from more of the frozen water. I was a swimmer, right? So, but he played ice hockey.
Yeah, that is. Oh my God, that is so beautiful. He's in the frozen water, and you are in the hot water.
He masters the frozen. I do the liquid. Yeah. Form.
Yeah. So you met when you were in this together. How did
we were both active at the time? Yeah. No, I as a swimmer at that time, I have a job to make a living.
Yeah.
So I was actually working for his team at the office, just to make sure that I had an employer that would allow me to go 4 months to Australia and train and wouldn't lift a brow. Like I could not come and go as I pleased, of course, but had that understanding that and respected that I was a professional swimmer. Being traveling the world, but also coming back and making a living.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a life. And you have kids?
We do. We have 2 boys. Yeah, 2 teenage boys, Axel and Jacob.
Yeah. That is the love of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. I would have to say very proud of them.
Yeah. You are so much a mother that is, because we have, as I told in the beginning, we have been together now since last night, and I know that you are so much a mother. The therapist, the couple, the family, the therapist in me just thrills how you manage your bodies.
Oh, well, thank you.
So
that means a lot. Thank you.
Okay, so with all that, and with all your knowledge, and also that you're talking about in the previous episode that we had, that experience you have to be an athlete, and how you have reckoned and understood your body after your athletic career. So could you just kind of tell us what you do today, and kind of give the one who is listening the history of how you managed to how you got into this world of to be an integrative therapy, trauma-informed integrative therapist today?
Okay, the short version. I think everything that I do has always been aligned with my own journey. And it's been about figuring myself out, being comfortable who I am and comfortable in my own body, feeling that something is missing, something is off. I had a hard time in my career. My strength was the physical was never the problem, ever. I could now with what I know now, it's like, ooh, I was very good as disconnecting from my body, as I believe that you have to be if you're a professional athlete to some degree. But there just wasn't, as I was swimming, I was traveling the world, there was still something missing. I had the fortune I had some great teammates. We won or got a bronze medal in Sydney, but there was just still something missing. I wasn't allowing myself to be proud. I just knew that something was off, and I couldn't. Everybody was giving me hard time to handle praise. I thought I would be more happy and feel more complete after reaching my goals, but there was just something missing. So when I retired, I was like, okay, maybe I need to be a personal trainer to figure myself out. Maybe it has to do with the body. So I did that to some degree, and then I was like, maybe it's the food. Maybe the food affects me. So then I became a nutritional therapist. And I was like, okay, there's more to it. I really love this holistic, integrative approach. So I kind of dove into this like integrative functional medicine studies and have been hang around there for 12, 15 years. Until like 5-6 years ago, when I was sitting with clients and they would come to me, and as a functional medicine practitioner, we have these intake forms, they're really deep, long intake forms. And they would come to me with this more of a traditional, like a little troubled gut. They couldn't really sleep. There might be some eczema, more like lifestyle imbalances that I was treating together with the clinic that I was working for. And I looked at their intake form, and there's usually a timeline there. And I would look and see what they have been through their whole life. And something really grabbed a hold of me. And I was like, your extra 5 kilos, or your trouble sleeping, or you're a little bit of anxious, oh my God, that's the last of your problems. Because I saw what was stored. And at the time I didn't understand, but I saw what was stored in the nervous system. So they were coming to me with the tip of the iceberg, but there was so much more behind that. So I was really like, okay, I need to find a way to work with people's bodies, not the story of the mind, more of like what's stored in your body. And also know that the client didn't come for that. So they didn't want to talk about their story. They just want to get rid of their, the gas or the, the eczema or something like that. So, so 5-6 years ago, I came across what we did last night. I came across a tool, a method that I use that's called TRE. So tension release exercise. And through that education, I learned about the nervous system. And oh my God, like my work hasn't been the same since. I got introduced to the pogovagal theory, to the whole connection between what I say, the nervous system to me is the bridge between the body and the mind.
So just for the one who is listening now, could we just kind of make a short version of the polyvagal theory here for the one who hasn't? I have it in other episodes.
Yeah.
And I know that you're one of the Dr. Amy that you are working with, and everything. You will probably tell us more about that.
Yeah.
She has an own episode where we are talking about this as well. But could we say something about this?
The polyvagal theory? Yeah. So yeah, Dr. Amy has education that I've been under her kind of wings and umbrella for the last 4 to 5 years. She has her own story and her programs of biology of trauma. So the pogovagal theory was introduced during my TRE education, and Stephen Porges, who founded the pogovagal theory, I think it's almost 30 years ago.
Yeah, in 1993, he had his first published article about this, and after 2011, I think was the second, and there was where Bessel van der Kolk and everyone wrote this book, The Body Keeps Its Scores, and everything kind of come back, but 93 was the first time.
Yeah. Yeah. So from my understanding, he was giving us the version of the vagus nerve that it has 2 sections, right? From the 10th cranial nerve from the brainstem, that there is one part of the vagus nerve that has to do with social engagement and like the where we heal. So when we are in more of a parasympathetic state. And there's a second branch of the vagus nerve that's called the dorsal, the backer ward, that wanders down and involves your gut. So everything from below the diaphragm. And the ventral vagal is more from the diaphragm and up. Right? And so what he does, for the people who are a little unfamiliar with this, is that usually when we talk about the autonomic nervous system, we talk about the sympathetic and the parasympathetic. Right? And what he did was that there's 2 parts of the parasympathetic, leaving one to be those 2 different parts, and they're very different. The one of the branches are, again, like social engagement. We stay curious. This is where we heal. Whereas the dorsal vagal is more representative of the freeze, more survival. But there's also, not to make this too complicated, there's like a low tone dorsal, which is healthy. That's what we want. Like
that we want with the ventral. When you lie down at the couch and watch a movie and you can recover with the dorsal ventral. But the dorsal that Porges are speaking about is when you go into, as you said, freeze or shut down. And
which is this is the main thing. I always say that when the coin drops with my clients, when they understand that the freeze is pure survival, and it's always on your side. It's not comfortable, but your body has shut down for a reason.
It's functional symptoms.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Yeah. So when he kind of laid out this map of the pogovagal theory, just really understood as a roadmap how the nervous system is functioning in the body, and explains a lot why, for me, the connection between the body and the mind and the stressors in the body. Like the nervous system doesn't care if you end up in the ER with that's one kind of stressor, but you can also go through a heartbreak. You can also, so to me, that the nervous system is truly the connection for us to understand the body and the mind and how they interplay.
Right, for me as well. And since I got into this, you can't actually treat a person without this knowledge, I think.
Yeah,
that is it's so big. It's, as you said, it's everywhere, and it's with us, and it's trying to make us survive all the time. And we as caregivers have to know about this so we can work with it, instead of against it, because you can actualize sympathetic in the therapy room and have a patient that is really, is re-traumatized, instead of that you're actually trying to help the person.
Yeah,
right. And you have to know about this. And if you don't, you think maybe that you do something good, but you actually not.
Right. I think too, what's really intriguing with the nervous system is that, and we talked about that last night, that the nervous system is not the end all be all, but it usually needs to be addressed, especially if there's like multi-complex symptomatic disease or illness.
Right.
Like usually most of my clients have been seeing a lot of therapists and haven't been getting the results that they would like. And as soon as we address the nervous system, all the other tools that they've gained start to work. So it's not that they're not working, but if there is an underlying fear in the system, it's kind of smart. It's actually kind of so intelligent. So I always say it's not the end all be all, but it usually needs to be addressed. And for me, if we talk about root cause medicine, you can't go much deeper.
No,
you can't go much deeper than the nervous system.
No. And you have to have knowledge about it. And so last night you made a treatment with me with Thierry. It was so amazing. It was so. Could you please tell me what did you actually do with me last night? What did you do with me?
What did I do with you? Okay, so I'm going to shoot it back to you and see that.
Okay.
Well, just because we're working with the body,
right?
What does that mean for you?
Okay,
being in medicine, what happened?
What happened to me, and you will then after tell.
Absolutely. But what means like what?
Well, it's to have a therapist that actually knows what to do, as you did. You knew. I felt an instant. Now I also know you a little bit, so but I felt very secure with you, and you have a very. So I just take the submodaliteten and say something about you. You have a very calm and very nice voice to listen to, and with your body you have a very calm way of doing this. I sense that you have done this a lot. I sense that you have done your work by yourself, because you don't sit there and are very stressed, because you create a safe space for me, and you did it instantly. And for me, with what I have been through in my life, I have my sympathetic nervous system is often activated when someone want to take care of me, because I don't have trust. If I let you will probably make me disappointment, or something will happen. So I sensed that it was coming to me the old way, but then I sensed that you're not going to do that. You're not going to abandon me after this. Now I make very big, say very big words about this, so I just take it in the sense of what happened. So I decided to follow you, and then I did. I just followed your words. I followed what you wanted me to do, and I sensed in my body what was happening. And then afterwards, I felt this both activated but also calm. So after that, we went to bed. With a wall between.
With a wall between us, just saying, just saying.
So, and I slept for as a klubbad. How do you say that?
You were out.
I was out.
You were out. Okay.
I was out.
So when you were explaining we were talking about an activation, that was still not, in your sense, sympathetic. Was it a nice activation? Or
it was a nice.
It was a nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like more of almost like a common aliveness, a little bit more than.
Yeah, and according to the treatment you did to me this morning, that we're also going to talk about, nothing has been not nice. Everything had been, but that came to another level of sense how much each of us is affecting the other one energetic.
Yeah.
So we're coming to that, but that was kind of a thrill. I feel like happy. Is it happy?
Happy.
The happy is kind of happy. Do you have a thrill where it's something? Okay, everyone will know what I think. I'm very happy.
Very happy. Good.
Okay.
Good.
So if we stay with the theory, so you for a couple of years ago, is it 5 or how many years ago was it?
I would say almost 5. I think I graduated 2020.
Yeah.
So holy smoke. Yeah.
And you had that treatment by yourself first, I think. As you said,
yes.
I
was introduced to TRE.
Yeah.
And then there's a 2 years education. There's a lot of practical exams that we need to pass. And I don't know if she's listening, but if she is, she's a really hard, tough cookie. My teacher, holy smoke. There's like a love-hate relationship that we love that. And I'm so glad that I have her.
Of course.
And so the TRE,
Tension Trauma Release Exercise by Dr. David Berselli,
is basically what I tell my clients. You already know this. Like everybody knows this because it's innate in us.
Yeah.
We're activating our own healing tremor mechanism. So all mammals do this. They will tremor to complete the stress cycle. So when we experience stress, there's a whole cascade of what happened hormonally, and that needs to be completed. I would say that is like the main. That's what should be addressed when it comes to stress. Stress is actually survival. It's all good, but it's the incompletion that we then store in our bodies. That's the problematic. So with TRE, we are in a really safe space, creating to induce these neurogenic tremors for the body to allow it to release stored stress in the body. So it's very, the whole like theory and education about it is that we can only tremor when we feel safe. So as you were explaining, me being regulated, me as a therapist, and this is one of the other things that I love about the nervous system, I need to walk my talk.
Yeah.
Like
That's very, very important, because the patient knows that immediately. If you have a dysregulated nervous system and try to treat someone else, it's not going to happen. Right.
And I think too, it's such a beautiful way of saying you can have all the titles in the world and all the education and knowledge in the world, but if you don't feel, and that's neuroception, right?
Yeah.
As a part of the nervous system. If you don't feel safe with a therapist, it's not going to work.
It's not.
Right? And so
it's very important for walk the talk. And just for the listener, could you say something about neuroception? For those who doesn't know what that is.
I can't use, I'm not so fancy-pantsy in my wording, but when I explain the nervous system, I explain it in 4 levels just to understand the magnitude of what it does.
Right.
We're going to probably get into interoception in a bit. That's like how you feel, I would say almost like your intuition, like how you will perceive your body signals. And then you have proprioception, which is, okay, where am I in space? Like my joints, that's also the nervous system's job. And then we would put on exteroception, which is more taking in the information from the outer world through your senses. So what you see, what you hear, like all these, like how you get like touch.
Right.
That's exteroception. And then we have this outer layer of neuroception. And please correct me if you have more
No,
to
no,
add.
no. Yeah.
So what I usually, to avoid talking over people's heads, I would say, you know how you would walk into a room and there's a lot of people and you can just feel like, oh my God, there's a dog buried here. Like this does not feel okay.
Something is off.
Something's off. That's your neuroception.
Yeah.
And I haven't met one single client so far who does not know what I mean.
No, that's true. And I usually said that just like this was brilliant explained, but that you scan everything around you and you scan everything within you all the time. And that is the automatic system that is doing this all the time. So if you walking along a street and something, you're watching your iPhone all the time, your brain will scan everything. So you might don't go into that lyktstolpe or the car or whatever is in front of you. Because even though if you don't see it, you scan it. So that is also one. And I think that everyone knows about that. Also, suddenly you walk into something that happens also. But if you, that is one level of it.
Yeah. And I always say that the nervous system, the primary job is to keep you safe and alive.
Right.
And I just think it's like poetic. That's how it's so intertwined with the immune system, because it does the same thing. It's there to protect you. So
everything, the body and the mind and the soul always wants you to survive or develop or having you not killed in some way. So everything is for you.
Yeah. So when the nervous system is off, there is a sense of a threat.
Yeah.
At some level. We might not understand it, right? Cognitively, but since 95% of the nervous system is subconscious, it's a gift and a curse to work with the nervous system, because some things are buried really deep.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay, so if we go back to the treatment last night, you were what did you do with me when you activated me?
So we primarily work with the psoas muscle here. So what we did, it was kind of late, and I've kind of scanned you. We were supposed to, we did not, but we were supposed to do the 6 pre-exercises that are included in the TRE concept, to ground, to settle, to there's a reason why there's specific exercises. So to kind of almost like I would say warm up the psoas muscle. So we lay down eventually, and I kind of demoed a little bit how I would guide you. And what we did initially, that first of all, making sure that you feel okay. Yeah, you had this big fuzzy carpet, and we had connected, and this is on your terms. So we were, the first couple of minutes, we kind of just activated the neurogenic tremors a little bit. And for some people, they are very easily to tremor. And then I say some bodies are a little bit shyer. And some people don't tremor initially. So it's very, it's always up to the body, and you always need to meet the nervous system where it's at. And there's always a reason, for certain things. So you remember how you were like, had your feet together, you were gradually lowering up. So we're kind of putting a little bit of a strain on the psoas muscle to activate the neurogenic, the tremors. And that can show up as being literally tremors. Yeah. They could be also like fuzzy water. It can be like a little tingling, or it can also just be a heat sensation. That's telling me that the sympathetic nervous system is, you're getting some heat, a little bit of activation. So it's very individual per nervous system. And then after the short activation phase, remember how you put your feet solid on the ground. So then we're not putting so much load anymore on the psoas muscle. And it was, I told you to do it like effortless, right? So it's supposed to be a very calm, like safe environment to release, letting the body, like I said, do what it knows exactly what to do. Try not to overanalyze, like, why is this happening here and up and down and why, usually it's, around the psoas muscle region. That's where we initially would feel perhaps some activation or some bubbles and some tremors. But what's really important here is the scale. We have a scale that we work with, which is from 0 to 10. And saying that 0 is I feel really calm, I feel grounded, I feel, present. 10 is, oh, I'm getting lactic acid, putting a lot of strain. We don't want to work over a 7. This is supposed to be, I always say this, there's no pushing, there's no biting, nothing like that. It's like when you get a little bit tired, you take a pause, and let the body use its intelligence to just let go. And then we take a pause, we integrate the experience. And then if the client feels like, oh, I want to continue a little bit more, we'll do a couple more minutes.
And for me, it was like, I have done, as told you in the beginning, I have done a lot of yoga in my life. I'm a yogi, and I'm so often thinking about how is it possible for me that I have been doing so much yoga so many years, 25 years, and still got all those tremors. And I kind of every class I have tremors, and I have been kind of embarrassed about that until I studied yoga even more, and I know that it's prana that is going through. So I just let it be. So I said that to you, that I'm usually tremor a lot, and I don't know how much you saw on me, but I felt that it was tremoring a lot. Did you saw that?
I did. I did. I'm not supposed to analyze it. So it's all about your experience. And I would have people, I don't know if we did that last night, but I would tell people to, when there's a little bit of a tremor, you can experience it in one way, and then you can feel it in another way.
Yeah, that's why I asked you.
Right.
Because you never know, because I've felt it a lot, but sometimes it doesn't show outside. So that's very interesting. So, but I just kind of let it be. So because I have let it be in my yoga classes, and I was very curious about this, what we're going to do. So I was at about a 3 or 4, and it was so calm that I actually almost fell asleep. Started to
you said that. Not snoring, but
no, not snoring, but I suddenly started talking funny with you because I was almost going into sleep. So I was very calm, and I was tremoring. That is very interesting how you can do the both at the same time.
Body's really smart.
It is really smart.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting. So when you it was good.
No, I was going to say, and also like you had we know each other.
Yeah.
So always when I do an initial consultation with somebody, it's their nervous system and their body set the tone.
Yeah.
And I also do a kind of a deep intake form to see what I believe is stored in the system. So like you were saying this morning, people can't book another session until I heard how they experienced afterwards the session. So of course, the intention is for it to be relaxing but you have also done a lot of work, right? So it depends on where the nervous system is at. So you just need to go slow. You need to be receptive and listen. And not everybody, like I said, the most common question that I get is, what's my 7 on the scale? And we have so many people that come to us that haven't felt their body, haven't listened. So they might miss the cue, right? So we don't want to overdo this. So that's a practice in itself to know when the body is giving us cues and signals to that it's had enough. And we have a society who is like, don't cry, push it down, work harder. So it kind of goes against the nervous system a little bit.
All time and everywhere. We're in our world, we're kind of not supposed to. We're just going to be the machines that is doing as you did. And I think I had this. I thought about that in the beginning when you said that you were when you were an athlete and when you were kind of dissociating your body, and now you're all into your body instead.
Yeah,
it's like a circle.
Yeah,
that is completed.
Right,
because you have both.
Yeah.
Because you also have to have the mind. And you said something about that for a couple of minutes ago, that we spoke about this in the kitchen, that I said that when I have new patients, they come to me and I make a
Evaluation.
Yeah, from the beginning. But the first time I already have made that a decision that I will take in this client if she or he wants to. Maybe I will refer them to someone else, but I will help them. I have already decided that. But I want the patient to come into my client. We have a session, and then I always say, and you do the same. We were talking about that. I said that you are not going to be able to book another session because I want you to go home and feel your body, feel your mind, to kind of reflect whatever we have done here. And I want you to be, that you want this, that you would choose this. And after that, you're very welcome to book another session, and then we will work. But if you don't, I will help you to someone else, and you work the same.
Yeah.
And that is very much that, and it is that I want the person's automatic system with me.
Yeah.
And not against us.
Right.
Because it's going to come up things during our work that we have to have that as a platform from the beginning.
Yeah. And I think, the therapeutic encountering, that's polyvagal theory all over, right? We regulate each other.
Right.
So it's really important that we as therapists stay grounded and do our own work on ourselves. But also the connection between the therapist and the client is really important.
And you said also when we were talking last night at dinner that you do this a lot online, and that is working. It's
effective.
Yeah.
I have a lot of education from the States, and mostly it's been online, which is because then I see that it works. So it's actually quite nice. Love in session, love the live sessions.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. Of course. But if you can't, if you have someone in another country, as in the United States, you can help.
Absolutely.
And you are mainly in Dalarna, right?
I am.
So, and you're working here with, and we are going to work together.
Yep.
As well. So you have, now you come to Stockholm once in a month, and but still, if you have patients, you're also working online with everyone in Sweden, of course, from Dalarna.
Right, and people actually are starting to come. So they come to the beautiful countryside of Dalarna.
Yeah, Dalarna. We love Dalarna.
And they come for a couple of days. And I will do some treatment with them. I have beautiful colleagues around Siljan Lakes that are really skilled with especially the body aspect, like the body work, I call it the hardware.
Yeah.
The nervous system to me is more of the software, but like the hardware of the body. So so that's an option too.
In Swedish, I call it also always köttdräkten.
Yeah, well, that's another version.
How do you say that?
The meat suit.
It's the meat suit. We're working with the meat suit. It's very important.
It is.
It is.
But the joints and the bones and
everything. Yeah. We have to have that with us.
Yeah, absolutely. The whole.
And you as a former, just say so, former athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know everything about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that will bring us into the toe of trauma. That was an awesome treatment. I got this morning now for just an hour ago.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Could you just tell us about what is toe of trauma?
Toe of trauma. Right. So I have always had a really a big love for Chinese medicine, but I also know myself now good enough that if I would dive into Chinese medicine at the old age of where I'm at, I would probably get divorced and move to China. That's how unfortunately that's my drive, which scares you a little bit. That's not going to happen.
Does Daniel know that?
He would just probably nod his head and yeah, whatever. He's been around. He knows.
You have also been living in a couple of countries together, so
that's right.
He might follow you.
Yeah. Probably, hopefully. But so I got into the curiosity of bridging in Tao trauma it's from Elaine Duncan. It's based on the book with the same name, Tao Trauma. So what Elaine has done, together with Kathy Kane, who's a co-writer to the book, they have intertwined the 5 elements with the neurobiology based on Peter Levine, who's founded the somatic experiencing.
Yeah, and then we just have to say something about somatic experience. For those who doesn't know what that is.
Yeah.
I have a previous episode also with Gustav Anberg that we are talking about this, and he gave me a treatment in somatic experience for those who is interesting. But you're working with this as well.
I am. Haven't done Peter Levine's education, but through Dr. Amy's 4 years with her biology of trauma, she is teaching us as practitioners. I don't say maybe it's a little bit more the foundation of the, but she's giving us her version. So I am very familiar with somatic experiencing. Yeah, and recommend it highly.
So what is that, just shortly, through Dr. Amy?
Oh, I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to give Peter Levine's, but he, it's based on the polyvagal theory, but it's basically what I would say, not to get into too much details. We're working, with the unfold story, of the body. Like, it's a bottom-up approach. We're primarily working with the implicit memory of the body.
That is so beautiful. I just want to say that the episode I will call it that, to unfold the unfold story of the body.
Yeah. I didn't know, I didn't know until I got the understanding of the nervous system. We would understand.
That is what we are doing.
Yeah.
Different ways.
Yeah. Yeah. And that can be, that's where a lot of things are. I would say that's what I see with my clients. That's what's holding us back. When there's uncompleted stress, it doesn't always have to be trauma. That can be a scary world. But I use the sense of the word of overwhelm more often than trauma. Like when the body's been overwhelmed, when things have been unbearable, the body will go into a freeze, which is, it's a beautiful survival mechanism.
It is.
Not always pretty.
No, it's
right?
not.
But it's there to protect you. So when things are stored in the system, somatic experiencing is a beautiful, I can't think of another way to have somatic experience and the knowledge of the body to bring in safety, right? To start with safety. That's what Stephen Porges tells us, that we need to have, before the neuroplasticity can happen, before we can reprogram our neurons, we need to have a sense of state control. We need to have safety to get out of the freeze. We need support to get out of fight and flight in order to grow our capacity and window of tolerance. And we know that when we're in freeze, we can't tolerate anything. The typical light, sound,
everything is activated.
Right. The minor stressor will shut the system down. So we need to bring in safety. And sometimes that's a little bit hard to explain, but it needs to be a cellular sense of safety. We need to feel safe. And safety like that is not money in the bank.
No.
A Volvo, a summer house. That's not it. We need to feel, learn it and make the nervous system safe again.
And I would say that it's what Porges says, co-regulation with another person that you did with me with Thierry last night, with what you did with me with Tao trauma this morning.
Right.
Whatever we're doing, if I have a treatment with EMDR or whatever somatic experience, we have to know as therapists that we lend our automatic system out to the other ones so we can co-regulate.
Yeah.
And that's what you said also previous, is that we have to work with ourselves. We have to know when we can't do that, because life happens to us as well.
Right.
We might have that divorce or something.
Right.
And we are not able to do this. So we have to do something with that.
Yeah.
So, and to know that. And that is what it's actually, because it's also, if I will co-regulate with you, I trust that you will help me.
Yeah.
That I'm not alone, as Gab and Mattea are talking about. The trauma, the essence of trauma is that you are for real alone within yourself. You're alone. You have no one to talk about. You have no one to reach out to. You have no one that you trust will help you.
Yeah.
Then the automatic nervous system is overwhelmed. But if you have just one to talk to, or have one that you could co-regulate with, you're not going to be so traumatized that you will be if you don't have that.
Right. And that's what they see from studies based out of 9/11. They've seen that people that had a big social support after that traumatic event are coping better in life than the people that went home and were alone.
Yeah.
So, but also we were talking this morning,
Yeah.
what Elaine has taught me so beautifully. It's like some people don't have that person to feel safe with, that maybe they don't have. And I think I'm probably one of them through my experiences of life, that I have a real big trust issues with people. I told you this morning, my bullshit filter is quite for a reason, unfortunately. Yeah. But so what Elaine has taught me, how we worked this morning, and instead of telling somebody to find a safe space, usually then what happens is that people will find unsafe. Yeah. Right? That's kind of how we're...
Do I have to have a safe space now? Or
exactly.
What is going to happen?
So making them connect to something that's neutral, like your bed or the chair.
Yeah. So I was lying on a bed when we did this, and you just said that feel your body connect to the bed. Yeah. And we will talk about what you did after that, but you did that.
Yeah. And I also know from spending the last 24 hours in your apartment, I know how much you love your apartment.
Yeah.
Right. And the room and the kids' rooms and stuff. So what I saw was that when you connected, because there was a little bit of activation in your body, when you connected to the bed and also the room and the apartment.
Yeah. When you said the apartment, it just like
I saw that because then
I love this apartment.
Yeah. And then so your mind is one thing.
Yeah.
But for me in that treatment, it's all about me earning your body's trust.
Right.
And that's just, you can't tell it to trust me. That's not how it works. So I saw when I mentioned your apartment, your body was giving me an exhale. Like this nice, like, all right, I'm all good, right? And that was automatic.
Yeah.
That was your nervous system. Yeah. Again, it's like try to think your way to calmness.
No, you can't do that.
That's not going to work.
It's going to go that
right.
other way.
So in going back to somatic experiencing, one thing that they do, they work a lot with resources. What is a safe resource? So for me, that's nature. And especially the mountains. If I just imagine, and it's funny because I measured this with coherence. It's there's certain places and certain mountains. Maybe there's energy behind that. I don't know. But there's certain places and certain mountains that makes me more grounded.
Yeah.
Just visualizing them, just thinking about them.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
I love Åre. I have been a lot in Åre during my life. And I just see Åreskutan. Yeah. And I just have that, grounded feelings. Okay, I just love this. Everything about it.
Yeah.
So it's an anchor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which mountains are yours?
I've probably should know what they're called, but the mountains, Tramontana Mountains in Mallorca. That's one. You have the Mount Rainier, which is actually a volcano in Seattle. That's really special. I think my favorite place on earth, of course, is Lake Louise in Banff. That is like those, I don't know what their specific mountains are called, but just the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. We love that.
Yeah. Safety.
Yeah, safety. Right. Okay, so a little bit somatic experience. So if we go more into the Tao of trauma, the Tao trauma. Did you say it's Tao trauma? Was that
Tao?
the book, the title of the book, Tao trauma?
Yeah.
So tell me more. What did you do?
What did we do? So it's basically, and I just have to say, I'm not an acupuncturist. I'm just briefly dipped my toe in this in the Chinese world, Chinese medicine world. However, if we talk about life force and we talk about qi, like they would do from the Chinese medicine perspective.
Life force. Like you said, it's prana in the yoga world. It's prana. Life
energy.
Force. Energy.
Yep. Yeah, I love it. So when there is stored trauma, overwhelm, or stress in the body, the qi is disorganized. There's no flow. There's no harmony. It can be disorganized, chaotic, or it can actually be depleted. Like there's no energy there. So in order to create energy and balance, there needs to be a, how would we say this? Like it needs to be, energy is created through the balance between the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
Right? So if we have stored energy blockages in the, like stored chi or chaotic chi in different parts of the body, if I go in with a regulated system, the regulation, very simply explained, is gonna dissolve the chaotic part of that chi in the body. So basically, if you just look at it, what we did this morning, I was at the end asking for permission to just hold my hand on certain parts of your body. And that's a whole different episode, like the whole 5 elements. It's why we did what we did. But what we are working on is to increase your interoception, like the awareness and connection with the body, in order to be able to, I would say, hold and experience your body. Because what we do, if there's trauma, if there's overwhelm, one of the things that signifies this is you can't be present, right? If there's stored trauma, it's really hard to be present, and especially in the body. So what we do so brilliantly is that we disconnect. Like things are too overwhelming in the body, so I disconnect. So mainly what I do is gradually helping people back into their body to experience the safety and the support after time. Like it's all a matter of the body has, the nervous system has a mind of its own. It's all on the nervous system terms. So in Tao trauma, we work within the window of tolerance, meaning that we don't want to push. We want to stay within the safety zone. And as you experienced this morning, you already know this. And this is not you being your brilliant therapist, right? Anybody can do this work, but I would say learning interoception and the nervous system, it's like learning a new language. Yeah. Because most people are not connected to their bodies. So that's why I was firing back. You said, oh, the tea area was wonderful. How does wonderful feel in your body? Yeah. Like, because your wonderful is different from my wonderful. Right. And does that mean that, oh yeah, I get this gooey, nice, warm, soft, honey-like feeling in the body? Or is it, no, I'm like on a roller coaster. I love it. It's all exciting. Like we need to learn. I have, when I work with clients, like a couple of like sheets filled with sensations just for people to learn the language. It's like, I feel great. I'm like, well, like, how does great feel? Where do you feel it?
And that is so brilliant, because you have to be what I call you and I sorted. That I just don't, and I think that very many therapists, and I will just throw this out, very many therapists are having, well, I have done this work, so you have to have this because this is the only thing that is going to work. We have that in different levels of our samhälle as well. You just have CBT treatment because that is, the evidence is showing that is working for everyone. No, it's not. It's a method, and it's going to work with different things and others not. And so you have to have this, you and I sorting knowledge within yourself, that you don't project whatever you think to the other one. So what you're sorting out now is actually that, and that is very, very important for us as therapists to know this and have done our work with this. Yeah. Okay, so I think that this could be this, but just come and say that no, this feels wrong for me, whatever you're saying. And I can't hold that for a fact that I know the best. I'm the expert. I know. You have to listen to the client. You have to listen to the patient because they know. Yeah. And with that, you don't have to have so much kind of sit on a pedestal or be the expert, think that you are the expert. You're just one in the system.
Right.
We are now here, you, me, and Rasmus. We are sitting here in a system, co-regulating with each other. So that is very important. And we also talked about last night at the dinner about attachment. Because when I listened to you with the interception, I think that because I have my own, and I speak to my closest colleague that I'm working a lot with, Daniel. His name is Daniel. I have this something that is growing within me about a knowledge about attachment. Because you said that you also have treatment with Dr. Amy with attachment. And I think that the attachment theory, the attachment patterns that we are developed throughout our lives is something that is when you are not attached, when you have a unsafe attachment with yourself, you don't have the interception with you. That is one thing about this. So if you teach the patient to have a safe attachment, to do a new story about attachment, a new sense, a feeling, and experience about attachment with myself, because that is everything that is going. You have to attach safely with yourself. This is one. What you did, and with me, my experience with the trauma now, I really sensed that because you were at my left side, no, the right side from the beginning, and I had this sense in I wanted you to stand there, but I had this feeling in my arm and my shoulder, and then you went stand in another place in the room, more away from me. And I sensed your energy when you went away, and you asked me if you could stand at my feet. And then my feet really start tingling without just standing there. And then you didn't go there.
Right.
It was actually not not a bad feeling. It was just tingling, but it was very tingling. And just the interception that I was following this energy, and you were pacing, leading with this sensation, and it was so. And then you went to my left side, and then you held in my wrist, my hand wrist. So it was just that interception to following and be able to follow this. And I have done a lot of work. I'm yogi and I'm a psychotherapist. I've done a lot, so we can do this very fast, go into that, because you're very skilled in what you do, and I have also done a lot of this. But I know that everyone can come to it, and that is something about to be able to have a bodily sensation of a new attachment theory, not theory, experience, attachment experience with myself. Could you? What do you think about this?
No, but I think it's all about like the work that I do. That's why my company's called True. Like we want to get as authentic as we can be. And in the biology of trauma education that I have from Dr. Amy, there's a big, she has, different modules, and attachment, it's a single module. And she's basing that together. We've had Gabor Mate on as teacher. That's how his work is based on attachment. So again, if we go back to the Pogel-Vagel theory, we can't regulate when we're born. We are primarily solely dependent on our caregivers. So if we as caregivers can't regulate,
so how can we teach our children? How can we make them feel? We can't.
Right. No. So it's like we when we're born, we're very, compared to other mammals, we're very fragile. And we're very independent on other nervous system, co-regulating. And if we have other people that, like, if our parents can't regulate, there needs to be some kind of attachment pattern adapted for us to survive. So attachment, if it's insecure, whatever kind it is, it's still survival. There's nothing wrong. Absolutely not. But when the attachment catches up with you and it's not aligned with your true self, I think that's where you end up in your office. It is. That's when when you feel like, okay, like for me, that has been the case. I'm so good at not listening to my body and pushing through. I had 2 major postpartum depressions after both of my boys. to the level where they didn't know. I found that out years later when one of my boys were just crying and not happy for years. And we had to get help. And she listened to the story. And she said, you've had really hard, like really severe postpartum depression. Nobody knew. I didn't get any help. I didn't ask for help because I'm all Miss Independent. Thought I can figure it out myself. But it's through this work where I'm like, oh, okay. And helping connect in the body and the mind. And I can look back at my story, understanding why I had postpartum depressions.
And that is also another level of attachment understanding, because you're a mother of 2, I'm a mother of 3. I can hear that is, and I think that you also talked about that in a previous episode, that it's through our kids that our motivation to heal, to help them.
Oh my God. Yeah. You're making me cry. Yeah.
Because that is what happened to me, because I also have totally disconnected from my body and, and done other things than become an athlete, but I have done the same thing. And when these babies are coming to us, and we as mothers, they have grown inside of us, and we just want to do everything that they will not have our issues. They are going to have other issues, but they might be a little bit more safe and can take care of the life that we have given them a little bit more. I think.
And I don't know about you, when you start talking about the story of the body and you start talking about attachment, I think it's inevitable for us as mothers, like, oh my God, what did I do to my children? Right?
Yeah.
And also, just to know, I always say this is like, this is exactly as the flight attendant are telling us at the aircrafts. You need to take care of your nervous system first. And then you will actually co-regulate with the kids.
And that is what I say. I have said that in previous episodes as well, and I always say that if we have children that have symptoms, if the mother and the father are motivated to do the work for their own work, if they come into the therapy room, whatever they do, if they come to you or me or Dr. Cecilia, that is Rasmus' wife, or whatever, if they just start doing their work, they're going to be the medicine. Whatever, it doesn't matter if the children have a diagnosis or whatever. If you have taken care of your own nervous system, you are going to be able to take care of the children, whatever they have kind of symptoms. And with the attachment that I started is that I can actually also, that we are so dependent to co-regulate, and we are attached. In the English word attached, it's so much more within that. And I just love Pema Chodron, a Buddhist a nun that I have a short on YouTube about this attachment and genuine love. I have this within myself, a conversation with myself about love and attachment, and that I can see through my work and with my private life and so on, that people can continue living with people that is not so good for them, that is making them so starting to activate their nervous system, just because they are so attached. So the love can go out from there's no more love, and it was a long time ago that they were still in love with each other, but they can't leave because of the attachment. So that is what I love with the Buddhist thinking of detached, to detach from others, from whatever it is, material things or other people or whatever, to attach to yourself instead, because then is when you actually start healing. And everything is according to the other, it's a system. So if you have to have a calm nervous system to be able to heal the meat suit.
The meat suit. And I think just what comes up to me when you're talking about preferring to stay perhaps in a relationship that's not working. I saw this and I thought it was so poetic and beautiful. It's like the nervous system. We talk about safety, right? So the nervous system would rather choose a familiar hell than start choosing an insecure alternative that will be a better alternative.
That is exactly
Yeah.
what I meant.
So we need to really
Thank you for that.
Well,
thank you for that sentence. I just love it.
I stole it for somebody else. Everything's stolen, but
do you mean that other people have this thinking?
Oh yes, I hope so. I hope so.
I know.
But I think that's also the struggle where I said in the beginning is like when people start understanding that the freeze or whatever they're stuck in, trying to leave that's safety. Even the inner critic that we all have that can be very uncomfortable can also, I can relate to this myself, like can almost be comfortable. It can almost be soothing.
Yeah.
It sounds all messed up, but that if you've had a strong inner critic for a long time and those self-destructive patterns.
It's a safe relationship
That's right.
with the critic.
That's right. That's right. So
we have to know this about this. You just can't just have that critical out of the system.
Yeah.
It actually one of the parts of the system that you have to.
Absolutely.
But you have to understand what is this.
There is
because the critical is actually want to help you. But it doesn't. It was previous in life, but now it isn't. So it's very complicated.
And going back to the Tao trauma, when we build up the capacity to stay within ourselves and hold whatever's been stored that was at the time unbearable, overwhelming. To me, I don't know any other way to be able to dissolve that. So it gently and small steps comes up to the surface. We need to build our interoception, our body's capacity and awareness to hold it, for it to pass through and be transformed. So if we have lack of interoception, when there's something uncomfortable coming up, and just know that working with the nervous system, oh my God, you don't run your nervous system. The nervous system runs you. So we need to befriend it. We can't fight it. That will never work long term. Trust me, I've tried. That does not work. But so when we feel this not good enough, when we perhaps get a glimpse of grief or whatever it might be, what do? We numb. And this is where we have the addictions, and this is where we have the overworking, the overeating, or the undereating, whatever it might be. So that's where I haven't found another modality yet that, to me, the Tao trauma is a deeper level of somatic experiencing. We start connecting to the body with the somatic experiencing, but then I would say Tao trauma is just a piece of somatic experience. It's just focusing on the interoception, but building up that capacity to be with the uncomfortable. That is what Tao trauma is doing.
Wow. That was the most brilliant ending of this magic conversation we ever could have had. Because we have to end now. Before we do that, I just have to ask you, is there anything you want to say that we haven't said anything about that feels, because you don't have to do that, because we are going to continue this conversation. This is going to happen more, right? And if I'm lucky enough, I will have you with me to San Diego this summer. And we might do something there. But is there anything you want to say before we end this conversation?
I feel complete, I think.
Louise,
thank you.
Thank you so much. FIM began as an association for board-certified healthcare professionals exclusively. In recent times, our membership have expanded to include associated members outside the healthcare system. The foundation of our work is based on a scientific understanding of integrative medicine and health, both domestic and internationally, as well as a systemic view of the human being in their environment. Our activities include organizing conferences, seminars, and disseminating information through social media. We strive to counteract polarization through interdisciplinary dialogues and Socratic principle of conversations. In addition, we constantly map and monitor research on treatment methods both within and outside of the conventional healthcare system. Together, we can make a difference.